picture this. It's July 3rd, 2026.
Right in the middle of summer.
Exactly. There is this sweltering, just stifling heat wave radiating off the concrete in New York City. The air is thick, the sirens are blaring in the distance, but you can barely move down 31st Street.
Because of the lockdown.
Right. The entire perimeter around Madison Square Garden is completely locked down. We're talking a sprawling police presence, specialized NYPD details on every single corner, barricades, and like a security apparatus that you would typically only see reserved for a visiting head of state.
Oh, absolutely. It's basically a fortress.
It was, and there is a near total news blackout from the inside. Massive, opaque, white privacy tents are erected over like every conceivable entrance. And then as the sun goes down and the tension in the city hits this boiling point, the massive jumbotron that usually advertises hockey games and concerts lights up the Manhattan skyline with just 2 words.
JUST&T MARRIED.
JUST&T MARRIED. I mean, the cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a completely new obsession.
It's the kind of cinematic reveal that feels entirely scripted for, like, a summer blockbuster, right? But it played out in real life, in real time, right in the middle of Midtown Manhattan.
It really did. So welcome to this custom deep dive. Today we are unpacking what is undoubtedly the wedding of the century, the union of pop megastar Taylor Swift and NFL champion Travis Kelce.
A truly historic pop culture moment.
Completely. We are synthesizing a massive stack of sources today, poring over real-time reporting from the New York Times, Forbes, Us Weekly, Variety, Fox News, and The Guardian.
I've got it all covered.
Yeah, our goal today is to take you, the listener, right behind the velvet ropes of this heavily guarded spectacle. We're going to explore the stunning venue, the highly unexpected bridal party, the jaw-dropping guest list, and ultimately what this event says about modern American royalty.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I can't get over the venue.
You really cannot understand the scale of this cultural moment without first looking at the sheer logistical madness of the venue itself. I mean, renting out Madison Square Garden.
The world's most famous arena.
Yeah. On Independence Day weekend, for 1,000 of your closest friends and family, is just a flex of unparalleled proportions.
I look at this venue choice, MSG, and I almost have to push back on the premise of the event itself. Like, is this even a wedding at this point?
What do you mean?
Well, when you rent out an arena that seats 20,000 people to host 1,000 guests, it feels less like a celebration of love and more like a controlled cultural summit. It's like throwing your own private Super Bowl halftime show crossed with, like, the Met Gala.
I see why you'd view it as a summit, definitely. But if we analyze the mechanics of mega celebrity security, the venue choice is actually a logistical necessity.
A necessity over a normal venue.
Absolutely. When you are dealing with 2 of the most famous people on planet Earth, a traditional venue is a security nightmare. For months, the tabloids and our sources were chasing intense rumors that they were going to get married in Rhode Island.
Right, presumably near her estate in Watch Hill.
Exactly.
Which would be the quintessential picturesque coastal wedding, You can totally picture the ocean views and the floral arches.
Sure. Visually, it's perfect. But local planners and municipal officials were quick to debunk that behind the scenes. You simply cannot secure a coastal town from the modern paparazzi apparatus.
Oh, because of the drones and everything.
Yes. We are talking about swarms of drones, long-lens photographers on boats, and tens of thousands of fans converging on a 2-lane road. I mean, the local infrastructure would literally collapse.
That makes a lot of sense.
Madison Square Garden, on the other hand, provides a literal fortress in the middle of a grid. They have underground loading docks, secure subterranean entrances for armored vehicles, and the ability to control all airspace and sightlines.
Wow, so that explains the white privacy tents on 31st Street and the massive NYPD presence we saw in the report. They didn't just rent a room, they built the temporary sovereign state in the middle of Manhattan.
Pretty much.
But I want to ask you, the listener, to imagine getting an invite to a wedding like this. Because before you can even RSVP to eat cake and watch the first dance, you have to sign a legally binding non-disclosure agreement.
Right, the NDAs.
The sources highlight that all guests were required to sign strict NDAs. It completely changes the psychology of being a guest, doesn't it? You aren't just an attendee, you are a sworn confidant under threat of litigation.
That psychological shift starts even before the ceremony, too. The sources detail a reported rehearsal dinner the night before at the Infosys Theater for 100 of their closest friends.
Okay, and what you even do for a rehearsal dinner when you're at that level?
Well, the party favors were a bit different than normal. The guests received diamond-encrusted, monogrammed keepsakes.
Wait, really? Diamond keepsakes?
Yes, custom diamonds just for showing up to the dinner.
Which is fascinating when you think about the wealth bracket of the people in that room. I mean, what do you give a billionaire to remember your wedding by? You give them custom diamonds.
Exactly. But beyond the sheer opulence of it all, there is a poetic layer to choosing Madison Square Garden. This venue perfectly mirrors their shared history.
How so?
Well, both of them have spent the last decade of their lives performing, bleeding, and playing in massive sold-out arenas. A stadium is their natural habitat. To them, an arena is home.
Oh, that's such a good point. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Which sets up the most incredible contrast of this entire event. We have this massive scale, this fortress mentality, the diamond keepsakes, the NDAs. But when you look at the actual ceremony inside the arena, they completely threw the traditional celebrity rule book out the window. For an event with 1,000 guests inside MSG, the altar was surprisingly sparse.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. They completely scrapped the traditional wedding party.
Right.
No massive lineup of 15 celebrity bridesmaids or a dozen famous groomsmen. Instead, Taylor's brother, Austin Swift, served as the man of honor, and Travis's brother, Jason Kelce, was the best man.
Which is such a grounded choice. By stripping away a massive lineup of celebrity bridesmaids and groomsmen, which, let's be honest, would have been a who's who of Hollywood royalty.
Oh, it would have been insane.
Yeah. Taylor and Travis actively chose to center their immediate families. Think about the PR nightmare they avoided with that move.
The PR nightmare.
Yeah. If Taylor Swift picks 8 bridesmaids, the entire media cycle leading up to the wedding becomes a forensic analysis of who made the cut, who didn't, and what that means for the celebrity hierarchy.
Oh, absolutely. They bypassed the who is the best friend media circus entirely. It's a brilliant way of saying, you know, yes, we are at Madison Square Garden, but this is still just our family.
Exactly.
And that grounded familial energy at the altar extended to the most surprising detail in this entire stack of sources, the officiant.
Oh my goodness, yes, Adam Sandler.
Comedian, actor, and Travis Kelce's co-star in the upcoming Happy Gilmore 2. He married them.
He really did.
I just want to sit with this juxtaposition for a second because the visual is staggering. You have Taylor Swift wearing a custom Christian Dior Haute Couture dress designed by Jonathan Anderson.
Right.
She is wearing custom Christian Louboutin shoes, and she is dripping in bespoke Cartier jewelry.
Stunning.
We are talking about the absolute pinnacle of ultra-luxurious, high-fashion, untouchable elegance. And standing across from her, presiding over this $20 million event, is the grounded, comedic, everyday guy energy of Adam Sandler.
The careful curation of that contrast is just brilliant. When you host an event this hyped, this luxurious, and this heavily guarded, there's a massive risk of the room feeling stiff.
Right, like everyone's afraid to relax.
Exactly. It can easily veer into feeling overly royal or sterile. Bringing Adam Sandler in as the officiant diffuses that tension instantly.
I can totally see that.
He injects an immediate sense of levity and warmth. It signals to the room that while the setting is grand, the vibe is still meant to be deeply personal, a little bit irreverent, and above all, fun.
That grounded energy at the altar was actually the perfect camouflage for what was happening in the seats, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Because while the ceremony itself felt like, you know, a local backyard wedding between two families, the audience looked like a G7 summit of the entertainment industry.
1,000 seats of pure star power.
Let's talk about those seats. Imagine the diplomatic nightmare of creating this seating chart. How do you seat the defensive line of the Seattle Seahawks next to the board of the Songwriters Hall of Fame?
The politics of organizing that room must have required a dedicated tactical team. I mean, the guest list was a physical manifestation of 2 entirely distinct entertainment empires colliding in real time.
On the Hollywood and music side, you had Bradley Cooper arriving with Gigi Hadid. You had Ed Sheeran in a neon blue suit, Hugh Grant, Ethan Hawke, Steven Spielberg, Zoe Kravitz, and Jenny Han.
Just unbelievable names.
And then, seamlessly woven into that crowd, is the sports contingent. Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, even Mike Vrabel and Abby Wambach were there.
Yeah, and Vrabel, making a highly publicized appearance with his wife, effectively used the wedding to squash recent scandal rumors, which is a classic PR move.
It really is.
We need to look at this guest list not just as a collection of famous names, but as a mechanism of power. It's like corporate mergers and acquisitions, but for fandoms.
Wow, yes.
You aren't just throwing a party, you are horizontally integrating two entirely different consumer demographics.
Yeah.
You have European film royalty sitting next to American gridiron titans. This room was the literal physical merging of her Eras Tour universe and his NFL ecosystem.
And within that room, they wielded invitations like narrative weapons.
They absolutely did.
The sources highlight some major surprises that show just how much control they have over their own mythology. Model Carly Kloss attended with her husband Joshua Kushner.
Which is huge.
Huge, because for years there have been intense rumors of a feud between Kloss and Swift. Her simply walking through those metal detectors at MSG seemingly squashed a decade of tabloid speculation in an instant.
It's a masterclass in narrative control. You don't need to put out a press release saying you're friends again.
Right. No notes app, apology, or explanation.
No, you don't need to do a sit-down interview. You just invite her to the most exclusive room of the decade, let the paparazzi get a grainy photo of her entering the privacy tent, and the media does the rest of the work for you.
It's brilliant, and it elevates their status globally, which explains the international royalty element. I mean, Prince William didn't just attend this wedding as a fan.
No, he did not.
He literally made an appearance on Travis and Jason's New Heights podcast just hours before the wedding. He was treating this event like a state visit.
That is the perfect way to describe it, a state visit. Because this monumental event didn't just happen in a vacuum, it is the climax of a highly public, highly documented 3-year cultural arc that has captivated the entire globe.
Let's trace the road that led to this altar. It all started with that first public appearance at a Chiefs game back in September 2023.
Right, against the Chicago Bears.
Yep. Fast forward to August 2025, and they announced their engagement. He proposed at his home in Lee's Summit with a stunning Kindred Lubeck diamond ring.
Beautiful ring.
But the way that engagement was rolled out was a perfect study in modern media synergy.
The coordination was flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, the proposal happened right after they finished recording an episode of his sports podcast.
Right.
And during that exact same episode, she announced her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl.
They cross-pollinated their massive audiences perfectly. The engagement announcement crashed the podcast streams, hitting 10 million views almost instantly.
Incredible numbers.
And the Instagram post became one of the most liked in history. But here is where I want to dig into the mechanics of their PR strategy, because the sources note something very specific that happened just days before the wedding.
The charity donation.
Yes. The couple donated a staggering $26 million to various charities. So what does this all mean? I have to ask, in the context of a $20+ million wedding at Madison Square Garden during complex economic times, is a $26 million donation a purely philanthropic move? Or is it a calculated shield to buffer against inevitable public backlash?
Well, in the stratosphere of mega celebrity, it is rarely just one or the other.
Fair point.
It functions as genuine philanthropy and strategic public relations simultaneously. When you are operating at a level where commentators and the media have officially dubbed you American royalty.
Which several of our sources explicitly point out.
Exactly. When you have that title, you have to manage your image like a politician managing a constituency.
But we throw the term American royalty around constantly. You know, we said it about Beyonce and Jay-Z. We said it about Brangelina back in the day.
Very true.
What makes this different to me, and why I think that moniker is actually earned here, is the monoculture aspect. They aren't just dominating Hollywood or the billboard charts. They have actively captured the NFL.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, their union has achieved a level of monoculture dominance that simply shouldn't exist in today's highly fragmented, algorithm-driven media landscape.
Right, because usually we're all in our own separate bubbles. You have your TikTok feed, I have my news feed, and they rarely cross over.
Exactly. But Taylor and Travis pierced through that fragmentation, and in doing so, they completely redefined WAG culture.
I think we need to unpack what WAG culture actually means, because it's a term standing for wives and girlfriends of high-profile sportsmen that historically carried a lot of negative baggage.
Oh, heavily negative.
During the Victoria Beckham era of the early 2000s, the camera would cut to the wives in the suite, and the media would often marginalize them as accessories to the players. The narrative was always focused on what they were wearing or how stressed they looked.
Historically, the WAG was expected to fit into the ecosystem of the sports league. They were orbiting the athlete.
Right.
What Taylor Swift did was flip the gravitational pull entirely. She didn't conform to the NFL's ecosystem. She made the NFL conform to hers.
The league literally started changing its promotional material to feature her. The broadcast networks were utilizing her music in their promos.
Because she brought an unprecedented, record-breaking demographic of female viewership to the sport. It fundamentally altered the economics of professional football.
Leading to a Super Bowl that became the most watched telecast since the moon landing.
Exactly. That is why the term American royalty sticks. They aren't just a famous couple existing in the public eye, they are a functioning economic and cultural institution.
An institution that can casually shut down the busiest city in the country on a major holiday weekend. It really is incredible to step back and look at the cinematic contrasts of this entire event.
It really is.
You have head of state security lockdowns, white privacy tents, and NDAs at a basketball arena. You mix that with the high-fashion, untouchable elegance of Christian Dior and Cartier. You preside over all of it with the irreverent humor of Adam Sandler.
Such a wild mix.
And at the center of this 1,000-person diamond-encrusted spectacle, you have this historic, unprecedented merging of pop music and professional sports.
It is a defining moment in pop culture history. It perfectly captures how celebrity, media synergy, and raw cultural power operate in the modern era.
So we want to turn this over to you, the listener.
Yeah.
Think about it for a second. If you found yourself holding this level of unfathomable fame, what would you do?
Good question.
Would you run away and elope in secret to a private, undisclosed island just to escape the lenses of the drones and the paparazzi? Or would you lean all the way into it, embrace the absolute spectacle of your life, and rent out Madison Square Garden?
Well, when your entire life is already public property, deciding how to celebrate a private milestone becomes the ultimate test as who you really are.
It really does. And it leaves us with one final thought to mull over long after this deep dive is done. If a pop star and an NFL tight end can literally commandeer Madison Square Garden on Independence Day weekend, complete with a massive Jumbotron announcement broadcasting their union to the skyline of New York City, are we witnessing the end of the private celebrity wedding?
It makes you wonder.
Has the mega celebrity wedding officially evolved from a personal, intimate milestone into a literal stadium-sized cultural institution? And if a stadium-sized lockdown is the new standard, how could the next famous couple possibly ever top it?